Okay, hello. Uh, Welcome to our webinar, our first webinar together with Oracle. For many of you that maybe are recent partners, maybe it's good to start with a bit of a background. So we began our business journey in 2013 as a very small team in a self-funded business model. We've been self-funded until this year, and we're bootstrapped, to say so. I was one of the co-founders in charge mainly with business development. Therefore, I have also created the initial partner program, the ones that under which we are still operating today. I think it's good to mention that a while ago we identified that there is an underserved need for good integration between POSs and online ordering systems. And although this is not such a big component of the market, I think it's growing. And we feel like there are more synergies in the future for POSs and online orderings to work together. So my bet is that in like the next 5 to 10 years, many of the POSs will merge with online ordering systems and vice versa, or they will develop the missing arm themselves. Now, if you look from this perspective, developing a very good online ordering system takes years, good years, like hours. On the other hand, if you want to develop a very good POS system, it might take decades. And here we are in the point where we thought about discussing with the leaders of the market, and that's how we started to talk with Oracle, because Oracle has this amazing POS business with the most popular product out there, very mature, with a immense user base around the world, about 300,000 restaurant locations, if I don't mistake. And in this context, we closed the deal, and Simon was our partner of conversation in all this exploration. So I would like to present you Simon and to let him tell you a few more words about this.
Thank you very much, Mihai. So good afternoon,
Welcome.
Good evening, good morning. My name is Simon de Montfort Walker, and I run what we refer to as sort of the worst named business unit in Oracle, which we call the Food and Beverage Business Unit, which is really the sort of Micros point of sale business for the hospitality and restaurant industry. I'll give you a little bit of background on me, and what I'd like to do is talk to you about as well, sort of, why Gloria, what our intentions are, give you a little bit of background on sort of what we've been doing in our business for a little bit, and then we're going to give you an update on, Mihai's going to give you an update on really some of the kind of traction and things that they're delivering in Gloria. And, frankly, I think we hope in some respects this is the first of many conversations, and one that, we hope to kind of establish an open line of communication on. So, Oracle acquired Micros, it's almost 6 years ago now, and it didn't go very well. And if any of you were in the business or around it, you would recognize that pretty easily, even if you just ask anyone who's a Micros client. The acquisition was a really tough one. And about 3.5, 4 years ago, the company just said, look, this isn't working. We're going to really double down. We're going to invest in this business. We want to win in this industry. We think we've got kind of a great reason to progress. And so we established an independent business unit. I joined Oracle about 3 years ago. Previously, I was in technology, but focused on hospitality. And my team and I have a very simple remit, which is to kind of turn around the Micros point of sale business, to grow it, but also to be really Oracle's agent, let's say, in the industry, solving kind of key issues and thinking through how we can help restaurateurs in some pretty interesting times. And if you jump forward for me, Melissa, we have a fairly simple mission, which is really this idea that, we're here to help ambitious restaurateurs and food and beverage businesses transact in new ways, and kind of serve their customers in ways that are, we think great guest experiences, but also enable lots of new types of transactions and lots of new types of interactions. Certainly, I think if we look at our business, right, 3 to 4 years ago, we were really working on making sure that we had the basics right, and the business was, and the technology was, where sort of it needed to be. We'd gotten actually to a very good point. We knew that we needed, I think, a great solution for online ordering. We knew that, especially even before COVID, right? One of our biggest conversations, we'll talk a little bit more about it in a second, was really how do we help end restaurateurs, whether it is our largest clients like Starbucks or our smallest clients who are independent restaurateurs, manage in a world where there are deeply funded third-party aggregators, and depending on what country you're in, the names change, but the models are very similar, that we think are in general have some positive for restaurants, but over the long term are probably quite harmful for independent and larger restaurateurs. And so what is our model and method to help them? How do we help that side of the business? How do we provide them with good technology, with a commercial model that we think is the right one? The business unit I run is about 1,000 people. We operate in, I think over 100 countries. We have both a direct sales model as well as a partner based sales model. And, this is a team that is just like you, kind of dedicated to this industry and really focused on it. What we found so interesting about Gloria was, it really mirrored almost perfectly sort of what we do and our structure, how we go to market, but also some of our aspirations. And I'll go through a little bit of that, give you a little bit of a sense for sort of what that looks like, and why we think it's reasonable. Certainly, this is an international business. It covers, all parts of the globe, and our intent is obviously to continue with that. I want to make very, very clear, right? Our goal in bringing Gloria Foods into the family is not to somehow close it off, is not to change the partner model, is not to just have it be a direct Oracle product. None of those things are our goals, nor is it to cut off other point of sale systems or cut off other integrations, right? We have a very, very clear intent that, Gloria will continue to operate as it operates. Our goal is to invest in the product in a meaningful way, to increase the size of the team, increase the size of the footprint, to bring it up market. I saw quite a few questions from people in various parts of the world, and some serving things like hotels that have slightly different needs that we serve in our core business. Our goal is to sort out how we can also serve those eventually through the Gloria platform, right? The opportunity for us is that, the overlap between what Gloria does and we do is actually quite small. So, we have hundreds of thousands of Micros locations installed globally. Gloria has a very active restaurant footprint, 25,000, the majority of which now are being sold through the partner channel. And there's very little overlap. We have very few joint customers. And so we saw that as a huge opportunity. We see the opportunity as large addressable market, right? And one that, together with what we do, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that are coming from us, and most importantly, what you do, a way for us to create a really powerful offering that we think counters third-party delivery, is deeply helpful for end customer restaurateurs, end customers and restaurateurs, right? And is a really sustainable business model. And again, our commitment is not, you can only connect this thing to Oracle point of sale, or if you want to build integrations, you're only going to be allowed to build it to Oracle integrations. We've made a lot of effort to become very open and open the system up, and Gloria, frankly, will be a mirror of that, right? We do see tremendous opportunity for us to work together, but we're not going to do it sort of at the expense, right, of what you're already doing, or some of the business models that already exist. Part of the value we saw in Gloria, if we're really honest, was this community of partners. At acquisition, Micros had a large group of partners who were very active. It it was difficult. Oracle's partner program is very complex. And so, that partner program, we think, became a little bit too heavyweight for the independent side of the market, and smaller restaurateurs. And so, frankly, one of the benefits we saw was this amazing partner program that Mihai and Oliver and the team had built, which we think is hugely dynamic. It's very easy to access. You've all got kind of markets that you're serving that we wouldn't otherwise be able to serve. And we think it gives us a way to access them, and for us together, right, to have a good business. The business case inside of Oracle that went to our CEO and our sort of board was based on our desire to energize this community, to broaden out the product so all of us together could prosper. And so I want to make that kind of crystal clear, right? Our intent is, we see this as a big strategic asset, the partner program, and we'll continue it, and we want it to be a big part of the focus. In fact, we would love to figure out how to take a lot of it and bring it into our traditional Oracle Micros partner program, which we think is maybe a little bit complicated and heavyweight, because we think it's such a powerful vehicle that Mihai has built. So let's talk a little bit about how we see maybe the marketplace. We do a lot of research. We obviously contemplate restaurateurs globally quite a bit. And so I want to walk you through a little bit of the logic on our side as well for really where Gloria fits. So if you jump forward for me, Melissa, even before we'd started working and talking with Gloria, and we had a lot of coverage, it took many months to get a deal done. We were already sort of working on how we would address this better, because it was an area we knew we had a weakness. But certainly, like, we know there's some basic facts in most of our industry, and frankly, even in some of our very large clients, right, that restaurateurs are really not great at digital. That they sort of, before the pandemic, we're not struggling is maybe not the right word, but often kind of, some people were really great at it, others were not great at it at all, and there wasn't a lot of territory in between those two things. During the pandemic and even before, these customer journeys that used to be, you were either on premise, off premise, and maybe a service style, have become very nonlinear, right? There's lots of digital touch, there's lots of own device touch, as well as staff touches and interactions that are traditional with the interactions that are not traditional blended together. And when we look at third-party delivery, but we also look at order aggregators, people that are trying to bundle and create front ends and then push orders to a restaurant, these sort of tech-led competitors have really kind of, sort of driven their market share based on knowing customers and being able to grab orders and intercept them before they get to the restaurant, right? When we look in the US, let's say, or in the UK, there's some very large competitors regionally in Latin America and Asia, the same thing, where they're basically buying orders before restaurants can get to them independently. Consumers can discover the end restaurateur. And we see that as kind of this move where third parties are grabbing transactional data, they're getting ahead of the restaurant. And our goal is to counter that and ensure that independent restaurateurs really are able to kind of take advantage of their transactional data and sort of own their customer and have an equal opportunity to get those orders before an aggregator grabs them and takes a big chunk of margin from the end restaurateur or the end business. Jump forward from me, Melissa, if you would. And so, we do a lot of research on this. Here's a little bit of one study we did recently, which is, we know that even though there's a lot of volume going through, third-party apps, whether it's, Deliveroo or, Uber Eats or any of the well-known suspects, restaurateurs would prefer to go directly to the restaurant app, directly to their sort of provider of choice, as opposed to going to a Rappi or an Uber Eats. They are becoming more and more comfortable in terms of, getting back into restaurants and having kind of interactions on site, but they're still going to continue to do takeout. They do love the idea of, using their device more in these interactions, right? And so we look at post-pandemic as being something of a little bit of pre-pandemic, a little bit of during pandemic. So more delivery, more desire to have digital interactions, even when you're having an in-person experience. And some changing consumer habits. And it's where we think, the combination of what we do and what Gloria does is so powerful, right? Great digital footprint, all self-serve, the ability for partners like you to go and create ways to sell Gloria in a branded way or a non-branded way to kind of align and create these great digital experiences. And so that's really the strategic goal for us, right? Is to enable those kinds of experiences and serve a market that is talking to us like this. If you jump forward for me, Melissa. So, in the background, in addition to, what Gloria does and our acquisition of Gloria, we've been working on really, how do we integrate this into the work that we've been doing and think about, Oracle Micros point of sale and Gloria together, right? And so the general idea, right, is that we see these things coming together. Again, not as an exclusive pairing, right, but as a very powerful one, where we can use both what Gloria does in the point of sale as a combined sort of entity to make sure we're capturing transactions early, we're ensuring kind of good operations and good customer experience at the restaurant, and we're doing it in a kind of fiscally compliant way, and enabling partners to also expand their business with more services and more offerings, given the point of sale. Certainly, we already have, and if you jump forward for me, Melissa, a very active partner ecosystem. If any of you have applications or integrations, we'd love for you to frankly participate. One of the biggest things that we've been working on, frankly, since we started this kind of turnaround and evolution of Oracle Micros has been on opening the product up, creating a really active and easy to access ecosystem for partners, integrations, and partner products, so that both our customers directly, but also our channel partners have kind of a large pool of products and things they can bring to bear to solve customer issues. And so we also think that the partner ecosystem that we've got is likely an opportunity for many of you. And it's also, I think, in some ways, a symbol of kind of our openness and desire to have a very open platform that combats another issue we see in the marketplace, which is, core transaction tools like point of sale becoming very closed because of the value of the transactional data, as well as in some countries, the payment transaction being really what is funding the entire operation. So I think, this is the start of, we hope, a larger conversation. We have from, the entire Oracle ecosystem, including our founder, who we just met with to talk about the plans for Gloria this week, a commitment to invest in the business, to expand and continue to add product to it, to enable this partner ecosystem to flourish. And that's our goal. There will, of course, be, some bumps along the road, I'm sure. But we're really deeply, deeply respectful and very, very bullish on this side of the Gloria business. It's a big part of the value we saw and will continue to see. And so we wanted to make sure that you heard that. This is the start of a conversation, as I said, and we'll look forward to continuing it. So if you have any questions for us, certainly we can address them in the chat. You can email them to us. And as I said, we'll try and do this more often, just to make sure that we are being kind of open and enabling the interactions. We also wanted to give you a little bit of an update in terms of some of the work that has been going on even during the acquisition, which consumed a lot of cycles at Gloria, as it did at Oracle, just to give you a bit of a sense for what's coming and some of the new things that have been released. And so I'll hand it back to Mihai, who will ably walk us through that.
Okay, so let's look what we have here. Let's look at the next slide a bit. So I would like to mention that the integration of our company within Oracle was pretty tough, and it took a lot of energy from us. But we haven't stopped developing, and we haven't stopped executing on our roadmap. So there you go. We come up with some new piece of technology that I would say is groundbreaking. The new order taking up, it's relying entirely on a new framework that would allow us to come with a lot of powerful features. Some of them are already released and listed here. Maybe you know that the app is already available. Some of them will be released within the next year. I'm talking here about auto accepting of orders, I'm talking about taking orders on multiple devices, pausing orders, executing refunds, rejecting with an answer and follow up, things like that. So many things that some of you have been asked about for quite some time. Then apart from this, we have also released other features by listening to you, by listening to what you require. And you will see in the next slide an example of such a feature. This is something inspired from competition, I would say, based on your feedback. It's not necessarily an innovative and creative features, but it's highly practical these days because there are a lot of restaurants that, because of the pandemic, are considering to go to online ordering, even though before they have nothing like this in their mind. So that's why their kitchen is not ready. And they need these particular functionalities to schedule orders so that their kitchen can cope with the additional flow of orders coming from online. And that's a very good feature these days on the short to mid-term to onboard more and more of these restaurants that otherwise wouldn't have come to the online space. So another example of features that can help you seize more deals, enlarge your portfolio with more and more restaurants, and we'll continue to release things like that. Now, when it comes to opportunities, I would like to take this opportunity to mention again, although maybe I repeat myself too often, the importance of restaurants having a very good sales optimized website. So if you are not able to produce yourself sales optimized websites, like you will see in the next slide, then you must consider promoting the sales optimized website from us. Many of our partners that are highly successful did so. This is a success proven, let's say, model of doing business, because once a restaurant has a good website, he will experience quite fast a good stream of orders coming from online. And then he becomes even more interested and engaged in doing online. So you secure that client and you don't you don't risk losing it to competition or to abort the entire online idea altogether. And although many of you comment sometimes that there are not enough, let's say, features to customize this website. That's the thing. That's the entire power, because it's not so customizable. It's very performant. It has a design that drives conversion and it brings more sales. So please, if you are a new partner of GloriaFood, try promoting this sales optimized website as the first paid service towards restaurants. Have them experience more orders, and then you can come with additional things. And when it comes to additional things, the next slide is also very important, because you need to make sure that the restaurant has a good presence online, and it has a good, let's say, his website is put in value online and it's in contact with the online space, which is primarily a sales channel. Many people see the online as another way to take orders. No, it's another sales channel, and that's how it has to be seen. And if you look at it from this perspective, you can put together a set of services for the restaurants you are working with, which are not rocket science. I'm talking here about helping them to optimize their Facebook presence, claiming their TripAdvisor account or Yelp, optimize their Google presence, things like that. So if you put these services together, which by the way are 100% your revenue stream, you will enhance the restaurant presence and sales even further, and you will create a stronger relation with that restaurant that would make that restaurant be very close, not only to our online ordering platform, but to you and your services. You would not be interested to work with anyone else than with you, because you are the one that helped him to have a successful business online and to continue having a successful business online. Again, that's a success proven model. Partners that have hundreds of restaurants are doing this and are promoting the sales optimized website. And I invite you to consider these services. And if you don't know too much about it, do not hesitate to ask my colleagues on customer success. Write on chat and they would be thrilled to give you all the information you need to learn about this, to get you started and to execute on these ideas and make good revenue. Now, what's next? How you can make even more money from this business? And here I would like to talk a bit about autopilot. And when we talk about autopilot is essentially a module that we have released late last year that would allow you to set up full-blown marketing campaigns for restaurants in a very simplified and automatic manner without wasting too much time and resources. And what's the best about autopilot is that it can help you increase the revenue stream with the restaurants with the one level of magnitude. So for instance, here is the restaurant, which I would consider an average good sales single unit, activating online ordering, activating promo, get close to $50 per month, which is okay, not the full blown of all the prepaid services we have in portfolio, but quite a good stream. Now, the same restaurant, watch what happens with its invoice if you activate autopilot. And that's a real case, by the way. Let's look at the invoice a few months later when the autopilot was active. So all of a sudden, as I said, we talk about an order of magnitude. Now, of course, I took one of the best cases. In real life, you might experience lots of restaurants where you activate autopilot and they just grow from 50 to 150 or 200. But hey, still, it's like a very good, deal, and your commissions will also grow exponentially. Now you might think about, okay, if the invoice gets so high, like restaurants will be maybe concerned, like they are very price sensitive, why they wouldn't end up paying so much money? And the answer is in the next slide. The answer is because they do experience a proportional increase in the amount of sales and orders. So this is the sales evolution of the restaurant that I just showed you in the invoice before. So this is, before activating autopilot in September 2020, and then shortly after they increased dramatically and they continue to increase. So this is the power of autopilot. I strongly recommend many of you to try to propose it to restaurants. I do not recommend to propose it to new restaurants. Usually this works better to restaurants that have a good sales optimized website, have also a good online presence, and then you come with this campaigns configuration as a cherry on top, and it produces amazing effects because these campaigns work once you have a good client base. If you don't have a good client base where you increase the number of and frequency and value of orders, then you multiply everything with zero, and the final result is zero, of course. Now, our best partners with hundreds of restaurants are doing all that, and they are still asking, what's next? What else can we do? What else can we sell to make even more money? And here, the answer will come from Oracle, and it's the next slide. And it's again another game changer to discuss about promoting POS, promoting a unified solution together with us. And here I would like that maybe Simon can also help me out discussing a bit about the future plan.
Great. And I see I'm answering lots of questions online. I wasn't typing emails. Look, I think there are a lot of questions about integrations, especially with delivery, right? And I think we've been kind of quite clear in the Oracle Micros world. And it's been a big part of our discussions with Gloria, which is, we believe that creating direct integrations with the major third-party players is one of the best routes for us to secure and help our clients grow, so that they are really kind of in some ways receiving the orders and pushing them to third-party delivery as last mile. We have those direct connections already with some of the major players, and we continue to add more kind of every month. I think I just signed another 2 agreements for one in Latin America and one in Asia, where we are writing to an API at an Uber Eats. We had Postmates before they were Uber Eats, Deliveroo, whoever it is, and able to interact with them systematically and sort of on an equal footing, but also able to do it with parties that are in some ways just integrating and creating kind of storefronts and competing with a restaurant's direct web presence to bring orders in. And so we are doing that. That is happening. Certainly Google food ordering was on the roadmap for Gloria. It's still on the roadmap. We're trying to prioritize it, and we're trying to get as much done. And Google food ordering, I think, is probably one of the more important ones. It is a really complex integration. And so, we fully intend on doing it, fully intend on working on it. And it's in our top, list of priorities. So that's all there. I think in terms of the partner model expansion, really our commitment and our desire is that Oracle Micros for independent restaurants is really Oracle Gloria, right? Gloria Foods, we love how they interact with their partners. We love how they interact with the restaurateur. We think the functionality is really remarkable. Everyone that looks at it at Oracle is always struck by how elegant it is. We think it's much better than how we interact with independent restaurateurs. And Gloria will become and is the center of how we're going to attack that market. And as part of that, Gloria partners in this ecosystem will be central to that effort, is the goal. And really the technical challenge, and it's creating lots of discussion right now, some arguments, is how do we really quickly create elegant point of sale back office so that we could actually have point of sale be part of the Gloria ecosystem and feel like it was created from scratch alongside of Gloria. That is really the future of this thing. That is, how do we think about, Gloria really being much more equivalent to, if you're in the US, a Square or a Toast, let's say, where they've got all of the digital, all of the in-store, plus everything around it. And that's really where in some respects we want to go. And we believe Gloria is a fantastic vehicle for doing that. As part of that, we had already been working on what we call Symphony Essentials, right? So we have this product called Symphony, which is our modern sort of cloud point of sale. That product, operates at everything from independent restaurateurs up to, a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks. We have, one client that takes 25,000 orders a minute, or, hours on end every morning in the US, right? So massive volume, hugely customizable. You can make it do kind of anything you'd ever want. You can build applications on top of it. It's a really, really powerful tool set. It's also very complicated. And we don't think it fits well in this side of the market. And so we had already been building something we call Symphony Essentials, which is Symphony point of sale. But it's simplified. It's got a much easier UI. We have things like an all-in-one Android device running point of sale. Oh, my background's killing it. Running point of sale natively on Android with a really friendly UI that is much like a regular Android UI with swipe features and functions, and a simpler back office to serve this side of the marketplace. And we see it as kind of the way into this marketplace where we're going to be able to kind of offer you an essentials product, devices, things like that, you can sell alongside of Gloria. Ultimately, the idea would be that, and again, this is not today, we're working on this, it's going to take some time, that Gloria and how you set up a menu in Gloria, if you're a restaurateur, becomes what you see on the device. And so that is the ultimate expression of sort of what we want to do. We have been working on this for some time, and the Gloria acquisition sort of fit perfectly because we were ready to launch this product. It is out in the marketplace now. We do have clients that are using it, what we call early adopters in Europe and the US right now. And so the idea is this becomes kind of our, let's call it our anchor tenant in the marketplace. And what we hope that, at some point we can offer you the opportunity to be, an Oracle Gloria partner, right? That would actually sell Gloria Foods in the digital footprint, but also have a point of sale and devices, and in some markets, payments that you could offer to those clients. So that's the sort of ultimate expression of, what we want to be doing. This actually isn't the device we'll go to market with. We think it's a little bit clunky. We've got a nice newer one that's a little bit thinner. It just hasn't been fully approved yet. So it's coming out later this year. But that's really what we're up to. And so if you think about Gloria Foods fits in really nicely to that vision. In terms of the questions of, can Gloria resellers resell Oracle point of sale? And I've answered it a couple of times, but I'll just be very clear. So currently, we'd love you all to resell Oracle point of sale. The model is really, we need you to come to the Oracle partner program, sign up for that. We're happy to walk you through it. We give you as much help as we can to do it. Ultimately, though, we'd like to make it, frankly, even easier than that, and enable Gloria resellers to somehow kind of really just using your current arrangement with Gloria and the current tooling that's all self-service, where you go and you list your business to resell point of sale. It's going to take some time, and as Mihai says in the chat, currently it's through our current program. If you're interested in hearing about it, and I've gotten a couple of people already who've sent me their email addresses, and I've forwarded those to our partner team, they can talk you through what it looks like today. We are planning on making it a lot easier so that you can just be selling this directly through your current arrangement with Gloria. And look, I mean, in some respects, this is sort of selfish for us, right? Our desire is to have, as many partners in the world thinking about how we can advance the cause of Oracle Gloria in the independent marketplace. All of us in business together, expanding our business. Our goal is to grow the Gloria business, significantly. And by virtue of that, we hope to grow all of your businesses significantly as well. I mean, that's our desire here. And so we're working on the functionality plus the commercial arrangements to do that. It's not perfect. There are some things that are going to take some time. One of the things we're learning about, the Gloria tool, the more and more time we spend with the team and the technology is, they've been incredibly thoughtful about how they've built it. It's very, very elegant, and that takes time to build some of these things out. So it's coming, but it's there. But on the Oracle side, here's, well, you can't see it because my background here. That's an Android device running our Symphony application. And the ultimate goal is, it's taking Gloria orders. You're seeing them on that device. You can take a payment on it. You can do an in-person order and all that kind of thing. So we really believe this is, very quickly going to match a kind of a best-in-class offer that we can sell in many geographies that, combines both the digital footprint plus the traditional point of sale footprint. Would you add anything to that, Mihai?
Sorry, I was answering to a lot of questions.
I know.
Yeah, well, there's not much I can add right now. We have so many ideas that we need to iron out and to put into the plan. So there is a lot of which things will come first.
Yeah,
we don't know exactly. People are, pushing us in different sides. Some of them will say, no, we want integration sooner. Others say, no, we want delivery integration sooner. Some countries are better covered with delivery integrations. For instance, ShipDays, which is a delivery tracking software integrating with us, already offers Postmates and DoorDash riders in US. So there, it's less pressure to provide third-party riders via our platform. In other countries, there are no such things available yet. So it depends on all these things, how we can iron out and how essentially we'll put together. But what do you think as partners? What do you think is more important, delivery integrations or POS integration? What do you think is more important?
One device. Yep. Delivery, please. Yeah. So we're and what is also happening here is, in the Oracle world, we'd already started working on all these delivery direct connects, right? So in Symphony, we have direct agreements with the delivery providers. We're working on those. Our goal is to bring Gloria along with that. Mihai and all of his commercial wizardry will be a big part of that, in enabling those partnerships. Certainly, we already recognize that and are kind of working on it. On the point of sale side, that's the other big technical lift, right? Which is how do we create those integrations? It will start as a simple integration, then it will get more and more complex and more sort of feeling of native. Certainly, I see lots of questions about local fiscal and country specific items. Look, Oracle Micros Symphony is the most globalized product on the planet. we serve and are sort of fiscally compliant in more countries than any other product out there. I've seen questions about France. I've seen questions of Australia. We're selling and operating in all of them. And so that's one of the big benefits that we see, which is a great global partner network. We already have global product. We already have a global team. I mean, there's a chunk of the team in the US. I sit in the US, but certainly, we have large teams in Europe, large teams in JPAC. All of us are typically quite, international business people anyways. And so I think you'll find we have a lot of focus on international markets, and it's a big part of our growth plans overall. And so we love this idea that you've got, some of you are saying, hey, I'm strong in this marketplace. Can you help me expand? We'd love to have that conversation. And so, I think we understand everyone's impatience to have, like a beautifully fully integrated package with point of sale and everything. I actually got sort of both barrels from our founder last week in terms of, hey, how quickly are you going to have a really elegant point of sale with the digital stuff out in the marketplace that we think is, the world's greatest kind of digital first point of sale for independent restaurateurs. So there's lots of pressure. It will take time, right? This is complex technical integration, and there's a lot of work to do. Certainly already there are ways for you to sell Oracle point of sale. There are ways for us to get you ready to do that before we've enabled it through Gloria. And as soon as this integration between Gloria and Symphony is kind of complete, right, you'll be able to take advantage of that. The teams are already working on it. And so, my head of development meets twice weekly with the Gloria's really amazing technology team. And they are already actively, seeing the interfaces working. They're passing orders between the systems. And so they're working it as a real priority. So it's coming. It's just not ready today.
Shall we answer a few questions live? Like, for instance, we have a question about the Symphony POS in France, if it's already compliant with the local integration with the, I don't know, I think legal compliance, something like that.
Yeah. So yep. So this is from Julien, right? Yeah. So yeah, Julien, I mean, we're already fiscally compliant in France. We have multiple, I think, Otacos. We're working on multiple large deals in France. So the product is fiscally compliant. We are selling it. We also just signed an Amber. I don't know if you can remind me. We have one other kind of good restaurant group we've just closed in France. So we have product.
Momo Group.
Sorry.
Momo Group.
Yeah, Momo Group. And so absolutely. I mean, if you're interested in point of sale in really any country, let us know. And it's likely that we've got product that's compliant and can be shipped and is ready to go in country. All right. So let's say we're going to say that. Type that. Oh, you're typing an answer, Mihai. All right. Chris, what is the time for rollout of Symphony Essentials? So there's actually multiple timetables, if I'm honest. One is for the technical integration, so that the systems can talk to each other. You can see your orders, and Symphony can send information back up to Gloria for wait times and all that kind of thing, or item availability. That's being worked on as a priority. When that's ready, we still don't have the ability for you to sell, let's say, for Gloria to sell Symphony Essentials. So you'd still have this sort of two-track. That will be the next act. And then certainly in the sort of mid to longer term, we're also thinking through how you could natively manage point of sale through the sort of a Gloria interface, or one that feels like it's Gloria. And that's actually an active project right now. So initial integration very quickly, and then other things stacking behind it and rolling behind. Will you automatically integrate a solution like ShipDay that is a third-party paid solution? So third-party solutions, I mean, we don't automatically integrate them. The way we typically work is, there's a couple of ways. One is we have a sort of integration marketplace, and any vendor can come to us and say, "Hey, I'd like to become an approved integration that you list on your marketplace and can be added to any Symphony installation." We help them. We have documentation, a very simple set of API standards, and they can write to that API, and we'll actually help them. We have a team. This is all they do. We have more than 120 or something like that of it now. That was 0 when we started the business unit 3 years ago. So we've been growing it very, very quickly. If there are specific ones that you say, "Hey, I really need this one for my marketplace," there are ways for us to kind of engage with them, to push and help. If you have a client that wants a third-party integration, we have a team that's available, a sort of a funded team. It's also something that you can do. If you do have technical people, we can just like with any other partner, we're happy to train you on the APIs and help you write integrations. And in fact, there are some Gloria partners right now who have already written integrations into Symphony and our older products. So there's lots of ways to do it. And our goal is to be, as open and systematically accessible as possible. We provide information in Spanish. The Hispanic information is quite large. Yeah, absolutely. We've got an excellent team in Latin America. As someone who lived in Central America for many years, it's a market that's sort of near and dear to our heart. We actually right now have a very big effort there. You'll see in the Brazilian market right now, we've just been rolling out a big promotion between Symphony and NetSuite. Everything's available in Spanish. There's training, documentation, and we have a team locally that can help partners that's based in the region. We actually already have a number of partners in Latin America, always looking for more. So yeah, lots of support and this goes for like all, sort of everywhere in the world, right? Spanish is the Spanish kind of Latin America, Central South America, in Spain, obviously are big markets, but it goes just as well for the Nordics if you're there. Okay, so some questions on. So Mihai, there's a question here about commissions and things like that. I don't know the specifics on all of how the Gloria sort of commissions work with partners. I mean, we know the structure, but our goal is not to change any of this, right? We don't want to mess with what's not broken. Certainly, I think there's a question about like, okay, how do we, if we integrate point of sale and enable point of sale through Gloria, how does that commercial model work? I don't think we really know the answer. Right now, in our world, partners are able to earn various kinds of commissions and fees based on their sale of hardware and integrations and all these kinds of things. And it's an active model. And frankly, we have a really cooperative model in point of sale with partners where, let's say we have a global client that has, a new operation in a country where we don't do anything. We have examples of that in many parts of the world where we rely on a partner to deliver a deal that we've done globally. So there's lots of ways we work with partners, and the goal is that it should be commercially viable for everyone. Will we integrate more printers with Gloria? I don't know. Printers is a sore subject everywhere because they're quite expensive. I'm not sure it's really a top priority, if we're going to be honest, but I'll leave that one to Mihai and the guys.
Yeah, like I don't think that's like one of the priorities right now. We have a good set of printers that are at the same price with other printers, so there is no big change like to just add more and more and more printers that are coming at the same price anyway and do kind of the same things. I know it might help some people to reuse one of their existing printers, but on the other hand, like the effort to do that is competing with other development needs, like for instance, do integrations with delivery and POS and things like that. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to yes.
No, go ahead, Mihai. Sorry.
Next question: like if we're marketing directly to end users as Pronto did. We never, let's say, market directly to users with Pronto. Pronto was a demo restaurant just created for people to try to use it and to see how our system works. And that's pretty much it. And yeah, some restaurants will come directly and like try to do themselves a service and to self-configure doing GloriaFood. But our let's say, preoccupation was always to recommend them to go to local partners if they cannot do something on their own. On the other hand, we need to be present with a brand out there because that's how partners find about us as well. So it's this dual approach, and we'll try to do more to, let's say, even the restaurants that come to us directly, to find more mechanisms and ways to recommend them to get in touch with the local partners, so that local partners are ultimately benefiting also on this effort.
Yep. Okay. Kevin, great comment on third-party delivery partnering with the devil. We don't necessarily disagree. Love the idea of independent delivery services. We'll check out the link and would love to chat about it at some point. If you want to shoot me an email or shoot Mihai just a note, and Mihai and I'll be happy to chat with you about it. That's a great one. Set up a delivery company in Australia from Eddie. Yeah, so Eddie, I think again, right, like at least in the Oracle Micros world, there's lots of ways for us to show. You can become an integration partner that gets offered. There's many ways to sort of to skin the cat. And so I think we're happy to talk about it. Certainly Australia is another market that we have a really active team in. We've actually made a lot of progress in ANZ in the last, I'd say, year and a half. We have a couple of new stadiums, some new chains. After, I think a sort of a couple of years where maybe it wasn't a focus. And so we're committed to the marketplace. We have a great team there. We'd love to talk about any way we can extend. And it's a market we'd love to do business in.
Yeah, I mean, I have a specific answer right also in chat. We have a partner in, for instance, in Vancouver that calls daily delivery, and it's for the Vancouver area. It appears as on-demand delivery solution that people can, enable. But you need to have something to integrate with. So
yep.
If you have internally some delivery tracking system that we can integrate, but write us on chat, we'll take it from there. The answer is yes.
Yep, agreed. And certainly, as a Canadian, we're happy to hear that the Vancouver one was first. It's good news. GloriaFood interface on microsystem will be updated. Point of sale automatically update the online menu as well. Yeah, the idea, I mean, our goal is we actually in Symphony have a very elegant series of services that kind of manage, menu updates between cloud and local device, availability, kitchen times, all that kind of thing. And the idea is to build a really rich, elegant integration with Gloria, where you have all of these items moving in both directions, including menu. It's really complicated, right? If you think about all of your geographies and all of the different ways like taxes get calculated and how they get managed in point of sale versus an online tool, very, very different. And so the devil's in the detail. The pushing the information around is not all that hard. What's difficult and what the team are working on is making sure that we can handle this very large global footprint and all of these special cases, right? Simple things like, people often talk about, the difference between taxes in North America, where they're typically, on top of a total versus in many other places where they're included in end prices and you sort of back them out. It requires us to create integrations that are slightly more complex. But the idea is, it'll be a rich bi-directional integration, not just with menu, but with really everything that flows between the systems. Some more ship day questions. Maybe we need another side phone call on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like some of those are so in detail that we need to discuss on chat with our colleagues.
Yeah.
I don't know everything by heart, heart myself.
Plans to develop in-restaurant ordering via table and kiosk. While Gloria has an option, it requires further development. Yeah, and I think, so this is from Sasha. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. So certainly this is another one of these kind of how does Symphony and Gloria kind of work alongside of each other. We have native kiosk that's basically an HTML5 kind of view of Symphony sitting on top of Symphony that runs a kiosk. We've got designs right now on QR-based table-side ordering and all these kinds of things. And the teams are working on a roadmap to make sure that the Gloria and Symphony ones line up, but also that we have a really great solution for the marketplace that's accessible both through Gloria and Symphony. Expanding as an e-commerce system, having inventory management. So yeah, I'm not sure we're deadly focused on restaurants and hospitality. Certainly inventory is deeply, big, deep need as we see, especially costs rising. So we do have an inventory tool set along with Micros. We're actually modernizing it right now. And one of the conversations we're having internally certainly is how would that work inside of the Gloria universe? Will third-party integrations with Uber Eats mean the restaurant can accept their Uber Eats orders via point of sale? Yeah, so in the purely micro Symphony world, that's the idea, right? That you're plugging in directly to, let's say, Deliveroo, and the point of sale is how you interact with those orders as opposed to another tablet, right? The idea will be that we can have Gloria be the same way, but also inject third-party orders, or frankly, more interestingly, send delivery orders to the third parties without having to pay their outrageous fees. I need a point of sale for some clients. Yep. All right, Oren, we'll send you an email. Vancouver delivery. Love it, Mike. And I think we're going to capture all these emails, and we'll kind of keep notes and send everyone. How often do we plan on holding calls like these? Up to you guys. We tend to be maybe in error, more focused on having more of them and being kind of more open. Sometimes you might not like the answers we give you, but I think we're certainly, we're contemplating, like, we'll do this regularly. Maybe we start quarterly. If we need it more, we could do it monthly. I think we'd look for your feedback on how often you'd like to have a discussion. Maybe they don't have to all be, a full hour. We could do 30 minutes. And there's lots of other calls that we'd love to invite you guys to, and gals to, just in the Oracle world around, how Symphony works. We have brown bags and research calls and all these kinds of things. And so I think we're happy to open that channel up as much as we can.
Yeah, and if I may just plug, we do have a virtual event coming up where we're going to do some pretty meaningful updates around roadmap, investments, future plans, and that's November 16th. There are 2 sessions. Kind of 1 a.m. in midday EMEA time, and then 1 later in the day, so we can hopefully catch the globe. So I just encourage you to pop out to that, and we can include that in the follow-up from this session as well, so you can register for that.
Good plug. So I think we're over and out of time. There's lots of questions. We will capture them. We will get back to you. And we'll make sure we're following up on as many as we can. Certainly, we're committed to doing this. We'll do this regularly. We'll set the next one up on the calendar, so you all have it in advance. If you want to hear the same conversation, we're going to do this again today for different time zones. You can always, I guess, come back and hear it again. The second time's never as good as the first, if we're honest. But we're happy to be to tell you anything. And as I say, sometimes you're not going to like the answers. But we try to be as open as we can. So look, before I let Mihai wrap this up, I do want to thank you all for joining us. As we said, the partner community is one of the big, tremendous pieces of value that we see in Gloria. We want to continue it. We want to make sure we can expand it. Gloria is a big, big part of our future plans, and we're really committed to pushing it forward. I thank you for all of your time. I thank you for all of your questions. We'll get back to them all. And we're really going to look forward to continuing the discussion. And I'll let Mihai wrap it up. Thanks again.
Thank you, Simon. Yes, I'm so sorry we did not have time to answer to all questions. On the other hand, I'm glad that we have such an interactive communication. We will follow up on all these questions and provide our best answers to them. And yes, well, I think we should do this more often. Well, I also expect your feedback later on about the idea of having more sessions like that. And we'll have another session with the same topic in a few hours. If you want, you can also join there and ask a few more questions. But the content will be kind of the same, like this session now. That being said, I thank you all for coming and for participating, and I do believe this would be a great beginning for and the next level of our cooperation. And I thank you very much for being with us through this journey.